What does the UMAT stand for? It stands for the Undergraduate Medical and Health Science Admissions Test, and it's required by most undergraduate universities around Australia, except for I think it's 2. It's extremely important, obviously. We've talked about the admission criteria for all the universities, and they all require the UMAT, at least 1/3 and up to half of the component. Registrations open early April each year, and they close early June each year. Why do I say that? And it's really important to know this is because there's always one person every year who forgets to register. And unfortunately, they're very, very strict. If you don't register, you can't do the UMAT. And that's, a year wasted if you're really dedicated to get into medicine. So recommended early April, if you're sitting the UMAT that year, just register. The exam is traditionally held on the last Wednesday of July. So this time, the last Wednesday of July is on the 31st of July. So it's held on the 31st of July, but that's when the exam is traditionally held. Now the structure of the UMAT, at the moment, 3 hours, 134 multiple choice questions. Now you guys might think multiple choice, pretty easy, right? Not this exam. This exam is a whole nother bag of fish. The questions are developed by psychometricians, and they're some of the hardest, most difficult multiple choice questions that you will ever complete in your life. Now, until this year, the UMAT was actually split into 3 separate sections. You complete one section, then you do the next one, then you do the next one. But this year, the sections are, interspersed amongst each other. It's just one 134 multiple choice question exam. However, the question types are still the same. You still have section 1 logical reasoning and problem solving questions. You've got understanding people questions. You've got non-verbal reasoning questions, but they've just jumbled them together. Why did they do this? When you start your logical reasoning section, you can get into the zone. You can get to a logical flow. Then you go to your understanding people section, and you get into a flow of understanding people and things like that. But by interspersing the questions amongst each other, they test another attribute of your intelligence, and that's context switching. You got to be able to think logically, then understand people, and non-verbally, things like that. So it tests another attribute, right? And that's arguably more realistic. Can I prepare? Very, very common question. It's actually becoming less and less common now. Now, first of all, the UMAT doesn't require any prior knowledge. It's not like your HSC where you need prior, you need to study obviously to learn the material for your exam. UMAT, all the information you need is in the exam itself. The UMAT's only difficult for 2 reasons. Now, the first reason is time pressure. This exam is designed so you're not going to finish it, right? It's designed that way. Most people, especially people who haven't done preparation, do not finish this exam. And if you can do enough preparation so that you finish this exam by intelligently skipping questions, then you're already, ahead of a lot of other people in that sense, right? Now, what do I mean by intelligently skipping questions? It doesn't mean recognizing a question you can't do and skipping it. It's actually beyond that. It's about recognizing a question that you can do, and you know that your friends are going to do it and get the mark for it, but it's going to take them 5 minutes to complete that question. And you're going to skip it because 5 minutes, when you've got about 80 seconds per question, is going to cost you 3 marks at the end of the exam. That's how you play the game of the UMAT, and the only way you can get good at that is through preparation. The second reason why the UMAT is hard is obviously the questions themselves. But luckily for us, the question types repeat year after year, right? People don't realize that this actually occurs. Not the same questions don't repeat, but the question types do repeat. Why is that the case? Well, the UMAT is an exam that, was administered because they believe that, your ATAR does not really reflect all aspects of intelligence, right? It doesn't reflect your interpersonal ability and things like that. So they put the UMAT in to say, people who score higher in this exam are more able to understand, other people and things like that, right? Because of that, they've use obviously scientists, researchers, things like that to construct these questions meticulously to test the areas of the brain that they say they're testing, right? Because of that, the question types are the same year after year. Because if they change question types year after year, who's to say that someone who gets 100th percentile in this year has the same attributes as someone who gets 100th percentile next year, right? So that's why the question types repeat year after year. It's a really good thing if you do preparation, because then you know what's going to come. And you can use frameworks, learn techniques and tricks to actually answer these questions.